Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. I hope you've had a great week so far. It's being Thursday. Some might even have a rest day today, depending on how we scheduled your program. But grateful it's Friday. I'm very excited for the weekend, and this week was a good week. It was a tough, a busy week, but a good week nonetheless. And I thought I'd talk about something that Dominique asked in a video or two ago about training splits. He says, yes, he's still looking for that perfect training split. It's almost cliche, right, Dominique? Always wanting to improve the splits, and it's always when you're in the gym. And I wonder where it comes from. I think maybe sometimes you get bored of the structure. I'm like, isn't there a better way of doing this? Isn't there another way of doing this? I must say that if you mess around with your training splits too much and you're not doing it correctly, not like a good bad way, as long as you're training, it's awesome, but it's that you get enough rest in certain areas that it doesn't inhibit you when you're training again. So if you're not running into problems like that now, then don't fuck with it. Do you know what they say? If it ain't broken, don't fix it. Kind of like that, If we mess around with our programs, sometimes, as I said, like we look for things and we're right back where we started. But I want you to think about going into your week the way you're doing it now. Maybe change up some of the exercises you're doing, or maybe change up the order that you do it in. I like to have, and again, everybody has a different idea about what a push and what a pull exercise is. Push, let's talk about triceps. A push exercise will almost kind of be like when you're on the bench and you're doing like a French press. We used to call it a French press or a close grip press, kind of a push movement away. And where pull would be more like a tricep push down, if I can kind of explain it in layman's terms like that. And the same with legs. If you think like maybe squats with leg extensions, you think about biceps, of course, just you wouldn't be doing a lot of push for bicep, but let's say something like, hitting your bicep at 1, 2, or 3 angles, thinking about hammer curls, concentration curls, and barbell curls, kind of a stiff movement. And then if you look at back again, we look at things like pull-ups, and that's one thing why people like putting in deadlifts. It's almost like for hammies, you have similar with biceps. You think, oh, I can only do pull, but you can do stiff leg deadlifts with hammies, which they work nicely together. And with back again, deadlifts or partial deadlifts is what I prefer to do. Partial deadlifts with pull-ups or with bent over rows. You get seated rows. We can talk about one arm, and I mean pull-ups or lat pull downs, very similar. Of course, pull-ups being, depending on where you're at, what you're doing, how effective that is. Something to take a note on pull-ups. I think pull-ups, to be able to do pull-ups is great for anybody. It's almost like being able to do squats. It's just, to put it bluntly, it's just very important for you to be able to do that. And I'm going to talk about a video I saw a while ago where the trainer, which is a high level trainer, was with professional athletes. Also, I work with professional top rank athletes from various sports that want to go into bodybuilding. And this trainer was using, for a very heavy athlete, instead of them hooking onto the pull-up bar, pull up slow, like, he's too heavy for that. So he would have him hold the bar and then kind of do an explosive pull-up. Like, nothing crazy, but like an explosive pull-up. 1, and then you touch the ground again. 2, all the way up, touch the ground again. So doing 5, 6, and working up to 8 of those, they're really going to build your strength and make you feel comfortable with pull-ups. I think people don't do pull-ups or squats because they're not strong in it, Where you have people that train it, they say, oh, I love that exercise. It's because you get good at it. If anything, if you want to get good at anything, just practice makes perfect, right? That cliche saying, just don't give up. Just keep on doing it. So talking about the splits again. So to come back to the point, think when you're doing it, think about kind of doing push-pull with your exercises, doing 1, 2, or 3, doing push-pull-push or pull-push-pull or whatever you want to do on these exercises. And then you can start off with, and again, there's many ways to do this, but you want to train a muscle group once a week and you want to give it about 2 or 3 days rest. I know some people ask me, can I train arms twice? Can I train legs twice a week? Can I? Really depending on their needs. But stick to one, make sure recover, and make sure you train hard enough, then you wouldn't want to train it. If you can train it the next day, then you didn't train it effectively the first. It's a good way for you to measure, saying, you know what, I'm not even sore from the exercise yesterday. And sometimes the pain would only come 2 or 3 days later. You're like, that's incredible, right? Then I know I had a good session. So how would you even train in that pain? You wouldn't, and you shouldn't. You should be recovering fully. So if you think about that, then setting up your training program, that perfect one for you, based on your goal. So there wouldn't be one specifically perfect template that works for everyone. That's what I always tell my athletes. I give you kind of a template I want you to start working with, and wherever you struggle, talk to me. But again, I train with all of them at least once or twice. I advise them, come in, let me just see what you're doing so I can help you, especially if you have a specific goal in mind, because that's one thing that I do very well, is kind of changing programs and diets to fit better for you to get to your goals quicker. I would even have some athletes say, the bad habits you're doing now, the stuff you're eating now, send that to me. I'll fix it and send it back. Well, the shit you're doing, we can even work with that shit and we can get you results. That is really how it is, So working from, to put it bluntly, work from the bottom up. If you start off, you're like, okay, my calves, it's almost like just hitting all the marks every week, right? That's all you got to do. And again, you can build it to your preference. I'm going to say I'm going to build it from the bottom up. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be doing calves, or let's say legs, calves, people, if you do them on your own, maybe it could be something that you're struggling with. That's why, like, I want to grow my calves. At some point in my career, I was doing calf only days. Go in, I would just train calves, hit them hard, stretch them nicely, and go home, And it really helped for my calf development, because it's something we neglect, we certainly neglect it. So, but let's say we're not doing that. So let's say I'm going to start with legs on Monday. On Tuesday, I'm working my way up. So we did legs. I'm like, okay, so let's do on Tuesday, we do abs and calves. And like, okay, now on Wednesday, we can do maybe chest and triceps. On Thursday, we can do back and biceps. We can do shoulders on Friday. And then we have, shoulders and traps on Friday. And then we got Saturday left. So now we've trained the whole week. We've taught 5 and we've trained everything, right? And again, when you're doing legs, like us, you can add glutes. If you're doing your back, you can add little glutes. Again, if this is something you want to do. It's when you want to train stuff specifically on their own or this or that, the difficult thing is, you have 7 days that you can work on, or that you can kind of work with. And out of those 7 days, I always recommend at least 2 rest days. A Saturday and Sunday, or a Sunday and a Wednesday, or a Saturday and a Wednesday, or a Thursday and a Sunday. Just making sure you get enough rest. And that rest day, use that, and then you kind of have your big training thing, whichever is something that you're struggling with, that you really get, or you want to get hyped up for, something you really love. Do that when you're at the best energy, But then again, there's different philosophies on that. People would say, rather hit your weak points hard, and so on and so on. You need to be mentally strong to do shit like that. Because if you're not mentally strong, you're not going to fucking want to do it. Like, oh, I'm gonna have to hype myself up to go do what's not lekker to train. I don't know. I enjoy all of it. Let's say you don't enjoy training back because it's brutal, because it's heavy, it's a lot of work or whatever, right? And you're like, I'm not a big fan of back, or I'm not a big fan of legs or whatever. If you psych yourself up for that, for in a good way, that could be beneficial. And then you have like a rest day where you are not tired, or then you've had enough time when you're training, you don't feel tired, or that you need more recovery, anything. But again, to each their own, So I don't think there's a perfect program out there. Maybe I'll pull up, but again, you know, even if I was thinking about maybe tonight writing out a program. But then again, there's nothing that's perfect. There's not one that I can write for you that I can say, here's the perfect split, you know. I would every now and again, if I get tired of my split, and again, tired being like, I want to shake it up a bit, because if I do a training split, I would do that for a year. I would do it for 2 years. I don't change it up because it works. If it ain't broken, don't fix it. I'm not somebody to stray away from what works because I get bored. That, for me, that's a weak mindset. You know, it's not a cute mindset. It's not useful. It's when people say spice of the variety is the spice of life or whatever. Sure, man, you can add a little bit of extra spices to your food, but that has fuck all to do with being a great athlete and reaching your goals. Okay, just because it rhymed don't make it true. Yeah, that's basically what I thought I'd share with you guys. It's Thursday. I'm excited again about the video I'm going to share with you tomorrow. And yeah, I don't know if I've told you this week. I do, between my ranting and venting, be grateful, and please drink your water. I told Greta I want to have like a liter, and I just want to show you how quick it is to down a liter of water. It's like done. And if you can do that 3-4 times throughout the day, done. If you have your meals, eat your meal, down 500 mils of water. Just do it. Drink the water. If you can really set out, and that's not a big thing. How can that, if you think about the goals you've set for yourself, and you are not able to even drink a glass of water, how much of a chance are you giving yourself to succeed? I mean, you are making a joke out of yourself if you're telling me you can't do that. You're making a joke out of yourself, right? Let's be honest. Have a great night. I'll see you guys tomorrow, or probably not. I'm going to send you that video. Like mine, I want to have this thing sharp. I'm going to add a short clip right at the end of a well-known athlete saying what I say all the fucking time. If you can have Arnold Schwarzenegger being your coach, do you think it's going to make you successful? You can have Dorian Yates being your coach, Kai Green, Phil Heath, Chris Asita. Do you think it'll make you successful? No. They're not going to come to your house and shove the fucking food and water down your mouth. They're going to work with you 2 weeks and get pissed the fuck off because you're not doing the work. So be honest with yourself, because I want you to succeed. You should want it just as bad. Have a great night, guys.
Be champion before you become champion. Do you understand that? You have to be the champion in this to be the champion in this.